of 2024 and beyond. Welcome to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. My name is Theodora Odro. Please call me Auntie Theo. I'll be your moderator for the virtual orientation. This year, our orientation will be in twofold, this virtual one and a face-to-face orientation when we welcome you officially to school. Now, with this orientation, we have assembled the finest and the best of the university to introduce you to some of the things you ought to know before you finally arrive on campus. The whole orientation will be officially opened by the Vice Chancellor of this noble institution, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosia-Dixon. After she has welcomed you to school, the Dean of Students, Professor A.J. Ejare, his office will tell you what they are also doing to make sure that you are safe and sound on campus. After the Dean has officially shared with you what his office will be doing, his office will come over and they'll be represented by Mr. George Asamoah, the head of student session. You need money to survive on campus. He'll be giving you tidbits on how to survive on campus. After Dr. Asamoah has finished his presentation, you know that security is very, very important to us here on campus. Therefore, the head of security, Colonel Koba Eshan, will also come over and share with you the dual responsibility. The university will play its all, but you also have to play your role in making sure you are safe and sound. How can you study in the university without visiting the library? The library is one of the cardinal areas you don't need to let go. The head of KNUST Library, Dr. Samuel Nikoy, will also be here to share with you what the library will be doing to welcome you, to ensure that you attain your first class, second class upper, and all the grades you are yearning for. And just as a humble reminder, our name is Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Science and technology plays a very crucial role in your study here. The University Information Technology Service will be presented by Mr. Stanley Fanuel. He will come and also share with you how to register your programs and what you must do to make sure that you are digitally prepared for the programs on hand. This session will conclude by Health Talk. The Health Director of KNUST, Dr. Osei Wusu, will be here to give you what the hospital and all other things, all the health issues that you need to know before you come to school. There's a popular saying that your health is your wealth. It's very, very true. How do you ensure that your health is so strong? So make sure that you stay healthy throughout your program. A professional person from the university hospital will be sharing with you some of the do's and don'ts to make sure that you don't fall sick, or what you can do to make sure you are very, very healthy as you go through your program around. Let me end this session here. But ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Vice Chancellor of this premier, remarkable, noble university, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosia-Dixon, to officially welcome us to the university. Thank you. See you very soon.
My precious students, on behalf of management, staff, students, and the entire university community, I'd like to warmly welcome you to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, the best university in Ghana and the 12th best on the continent of Africa, and still making inroads. Let me take this opportunity to commend you and congratulate you for selecting and gaining admission to our noble, prestigious, and august university. Being able to meet the selection criteria in such an obviously stiff competition speaks volumes of what you are made up of, your resiliency and hard work, which has contributed to your success story to this point amidst the COVID-19 challenges, should encourage and propel you to achieve greater heights in your training and career development here at KNUST. Your academic journey in the university has just begun, and the next 4 to 6 years, depending on which program you are on, will be a significant transforming period in your life. While the university will definitely have a huge role to play in this process, a lot will also depend on you, the individual, as you partner with us to effectively bring out the best in you. We will work with you to assist you to adjust to your new environment through our support systems to the best of our ability. Your approach to academic work, the effective management of your time, and the seeming liberties and what you make of the multiple and diverse resources, as well as the many opportunities at your disposal, will go a long way to make out of you that gem Ghana and the world need most. You may be coming from different academic, social, economic, and religious backgrounds, but I wish to assure you that the university is a melting pot and a level playing field, where you will get to meet and make new friends and excel academically, provided you make optimum use of the resources which will be equally available to you. It should be your goal from the first day you set your foot on campus to want to achieve greater heights, to strive to be among the best and graduate with flying colors at the end of your program. Always remember that at KNUST, we are one big family and we look out for each other. The university runs a collegiate system, and this is made up of these colleges: College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, College of Art and Built Environment, College of Engineering, College of Health Sciences, College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and College of Science. All these colleges are delighted to have you. Our obligation towards you and your families will be to work with you to churn you out as holistic and all-rounded graduates, ready to take your place in the world of work and to contribute positively to society. You are encouraged to make maximum use of all other training programs and opportunities, both internal and external, to the university to add value to yourself on a daily basis. Finally, I'd like to commend you highly for sticking to and obeying all the COVID-19 protocols and staying safe to this point. Please be reminded that we are not completely out of the woods yet. You are therefore required to adhere to all the safety protocols that the university has painstakingly put in place to ensure your safety, as well as that of the entire university community at all times. Once again, accept our heartfelt congratulations. We are indeed keenly looking forward to you joining the great KNUST family, the leaders in change. Let me also use this opportunity to wish you and your dear families a happy new year, and just to encourage you to continue to stay safe. See you soon, and thank you very much for your audience.
I am Professor Wilson Ajay Ejari, the Dean of Students of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And I'm presenting to you today the role the Dean's Office plays in the life of students on KNUST campus. As an overview, presently, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the #1 university in Ghana, and also the 12th best university in Africa, has a student population of 65,000. And all these students have to be taken care of by the Dean of Students. And that is in the last academic year. Going forward into 2021 academic year, it's most likely this number of students will increase. And it calls for all of us to know what is expected of us as students of Kwame Nkrumah University. And it's important as a student of this great and noble university to know where this office is located. On campus, it's located at the commercial area in the Harper building. The office has a number of other associated units. One of them is the counseling unit, which takes care of students who have either emotional challenges or psychological problems. It also has the student finance office, where students who have issues relating to their ability to sustain themselves on campus also come in to seek advice, and in some cases they are able to get support to make sure they achieve what is expected of them as students of KN University. Also, we have the chaplaincy office, which also takes care of students' spiritual needs. In addition, the university has also made arrangements with the Ghana National Immigration Office to have an office of the immigration on campus, so that students will be supported when the need arises, especially when it comes to international students. When we talk about the office of the Dean of Students, it's not a one-man's office. Myself being the Dean, I'm assisted by a Vice Dean. We have also a Deputy Registrar. We have also an Assistant Registrar. We have a Hall Master, and we have other office staffs, senior and junior members who help to make sure that the office runs effectively. As a mission, the office works so that students will understand the policies and processes of the university. A big university such as KNUST work with a number of policies, a number of procedures to make sure that we achieve the set goals. And students who will be admitted over a certain period will have to play their role as students to make sure that we achieve the set objectives. Also, the office works with students to make sure they are involved in the decision making. The university prides itself in making sure that students are involved at all levels of the decision making, and it's the role of the Dean of Students to make sure that students are elected to represent themselves at all these levels. And also, we also look at the development of the students in terms of their leadership qualities. These are some of the issues which we work on to make sure the students are brought to the level which will enhance the image of the university. The office is recognized as the conduct administrator for students. It looks as the welfare, student conduct, and discipline. And as I indicated earlier, is a parent of all students on campus. It means the office represents you when there are issues between a student and a staff, between a student and another student. And then when students also find themselves in the wrong side of the law, is this office which has to provide the needed advice to the Vice Chancellor for a disciplinary committee to be set. However, it's not in all cases that students may have to run directly to this office. In some instances, the issues border more on an academic grounds, and therefore the best option will be to start with your head of department, followed by the dean of your faculty, and then the provost. But if the students, after going through all these procedures, thinks that he has not received the needed support, can still come to the Dean of Students office to seek redress. In some cases also, students feel that the issue at stake is such that they might not get the needed attention taking it through this channel. The office is still open for you to seek the redress directly through the office. By the nature of the office, it has linkage with all the relevant units of the university. It has a direct access to the Vice Chancellor, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the Finance Officer, the Director of the University Health, the Security, the Chaplains, the halls. All the relevant organs have a direct link with this office so that students' interests will be duly represented. The office is made up of a number of sections. We have the Central Unit, we have the Student Affairs and Financial Services Unit, we have the International Students Affairs, the Student Housing and Resident Life, Student Leadership made up of the SRC, which is the Student Representative Council, and then the GRASAT, which is the Graduate Student Association of Ghana. In addition, we also have the local Knust office. There are a number of activities the office carries out, and at this point, I will want to take you through some of them. The office liaises with the key student organizations, as I've already mentioned, the SRC, the GRASAC, the local Knust, to ensure that the welfare of students are taken care of. There are a number of issues which, if collectively students find it to be challenging for them, their leadership will present it to the dean, and the dean will serve as a conduit between the students and help them resolve with management. Also, the office also works with external bodies who, in one way or the other, wants to make contact with students. If an office wants to have some relationship with students of KNUST, the office, that particular external office, has to go through the dean of student. The dean would then identify the relevant student group or union to work with them so that the said goal is achieved. As I mentioned, there are other non-resident facilities. We have about 65,000 students. It's only about a quarter of these students who are staying on the university campus. And therefore, there are instances students may come to campus and they will want a place to sit quietly, study their materials, or go through their materials on their laptop or phone or whatever it is. The university have 3 such facilities, one dedicated to graduate students and 2 others for undergraduate students. And one is around where Unity Hall is, and the other is in the main academic area close to the Faculty of Architecture. The office also works in collaboration with hostels. As I've said, it means we have a lot of students staying in hostels, and therefore the office liaises with these hostels to make sure that the prices they give out are affordable, they have a conducive environment, students' security is assured, and when there are challenging issues between students and owners or managers of these hostels, the office sits in to help address the issue as a parent for the students. The office liaises with other university departments, be it the International Programs Office, the UITS, the University Information and Technology Services Unit, Security, Transport and Hospital, to make sure that the interests of students is always taken care of. As I indicated earlier in my presentation, the welfare of students are the primary concern of the office. There are 5 cardinal areas for which the office deals with the welfare of students. One is the International Students Affairs, the Student Housing and Student Resident Life, Student Conduct and Discipline, Student Support Services, and then the Student Health Services. In terms of international students, The office, and for that matter, the university takes very into important consideration the issues of international students. We know that all students do not have their parents on campus, but when it comes to international students, the parents are far away. Although they may be able to reach them through internet facilities, either email, WhatsApp, through phone, there are certain concerns for which they need to have the needed attention. For that matter, international students, there is a special residential facility which has been set out to support international students. And for this place, all international students for their first year on campus will have to stay at this place until they are acclimatized to the system on campus, and then they may be allowed to live on their own evolution. And this place is what we usually refer to as the Brunei complex. Also, for international students, they may have the need to regularize their stay in the country. And for this reason, the university has made the needed arrangement with the Ghana Immigration Service, and therefore we have the Immigration Service office on campus. And therefore, international students can stay on campus in the comfort of KNUST campus and regularize their stay. Also, the Vice Dean of Students has the direct responsibility for international students. So whenever they have concerns, they are able to seek direct redress through the Vice Dean's office. And if it becomes necessary, it is reported to the Dean of Students. The international students also have International Students Association, which also seeks their welfare. And this association is represented on the student parliament level. And therefore, international students are not left out in all the decision making on KNUST campus. The second primary activity for which student welfare is sought is the student resident life, resident accommodation for students on campus. There are halls of residence which are earmarked for first year students on KNUST campus, and it's the duty of the office to make sure that conditions in these halls are conducive and decent for students to stay. However, the number of bed spaces are not enough for every student to have accommodation on campus. And therefore, the office has made the needed arrangement with private hostels for whom we've liaised with them and made sure their conditions are suitable, decent, and affordable. And the Dean of Students liaises with them, carries out regular inspections, and these hostels are also made available for first years. On the other side, also, all other hostels hosting continuing students also go through the same rigorous checks to make sure they are decent and affordable for students. Also, there are 3 non-residential facilities for students who may, for one reason or the other, have to be on campus and want to sit in a quiet place and then have some studies. 2 of these facilities are earmarked for undergraduate students and 1 for postgraduate students. These facilities are open most of the time, usually up to about 10 o'clock, and it's available for students to sit, read, study. There are Wi-Fi facilities for students to be able to access internet and do all the academic work they intend doing at these places. The third issue, most importantly, is the student conduct and discipline. Students' conduct and discipline is key to KNUST because whatever you do as a student of KNUST can bring the name of the university into disrepute. In most cases, at times when students are at home, they think they can go about their duties, and then whatever they do might not infringe on the image of the university. But once you are still a valid KNUST student, it is important that you hold yourself high. The office liaises with most of the units of the university when it comes to the student conduct and discipline. And most issues concerning student conduct and discipline are either reported directly to the office or referred to the office. There are a number of issues. This may include theft, fraud, assault, gambling, drug abuse, harassment, be it sexual or colleague bullying, and in most recent times, the social media abuse. Some students may decide to put things which are not true on social media or to harass somebody using the internet. All these things, when it's brought to the office, will have to be considered. And where the need be, the needed disciplinary action will have to be taken. These are some of the issues which in the present day life of students has become very important for the office to address. But I will urge you, for any one reason or the other, when you get to know that somebody is in need, or somebody is challenged, or you are challenged by another student, you do not take the laws into your hands, but report to the Dean of Students for the necessary action to be taken. As I indicated, students involve themselves in some of these negative or antisocial behavior. On campus, you cannot fight, you cannot hit another person, and in recent times, most of the challenges we are having involves fraud among students themselves. Students promising one another to assist them to buy mobile phones, laptops, all sorts of gadgets for which they do not have the capacity to do. And if you do that, you find yourself at the wrong end. Also, students in some cases also involve themselves in gambling, to the extent that some students even gamble with their own school fees. It's something you have to desist from, because you never know to what end it will result. In terms of the drug abuse, it's also something some students have started engaging themselves in all forms of drug use. Stay away from drugs, because once you move into drugs, you may not be able to control yourself and your life becomes a dangerous one. In terms of health services, once you become a student of KNUST, you have to undergo a medical examination, and depending on the results, this office may get involved to make sure you get the needed attention or facilities you need. Also, the office works very closely with the counseling center, and therefore students who have psychological problems or emotional ones are referred to this office to get the needed attention. But what I urge every student to do is that once you are here, your colleagues, your roommates, your classmates, you become each other's brother or sister. And then you look out for one another. In some instances, you see that the life pattern of your colleague has changed. In some cases, this friend of mine, he's used to eating very heavy in the morning, but for some 2 days, this guy has not been eating in the morning. There could be two issues. It could be that the guy is not well, or the guy has no money. So the first thing is to find out what is happening to him. Should it happen that maybe the relationship between the two of you has gone sour, and therefore you cannot ask directly, you can ask another person who you know is close to the guy to find out. Or you can report to the Dean of Students, who will take the needed action to make sure the person receives the needed support. Because there has been instances, two people staying in the same room, because they are not on speaking terms, one may be ill, and for days, the person is not receiving attention. Be each other's keeper. It's very important, because if you are not careful, the next time it might be you, and the other will also turn a blind eye. In terms of financial services, somebody could enter the university, the parents are well-to-do, everything is moving on smoothly, and something happens. The parents, there was an instance, somebody in the second year, the mother was the one taking care of her. It was somebody who dealt in clothes, and their store got bent. And it means he has moved from that level to another low level. Such instances, when it is reported to the office, we have a unit which will work with you to see how best we can help. There are students who need financial support, students who are brilliant but needy. The office works with students to make sure where it is possible, some support is provided. Where some scholarship could be, direction could be given on where to obtain some support, is also provided. In some cases, it's an internal issue. There are a number of scholarship schemes available, such as the KBN, the university bursary. There are scholarships from support from Barclays Bank and other units, which you'll be giving the needed support. Also, you have to note that such support also is done annually, and therefore, in the second semester, if you look out, you go to the university website, you may be able to pick the needed forms, complete, and then submit for the needed support to be given. The university has also created what we call a food bank and clothing bank. And therefore, if you are a parent and you can afford to support such a guest card, it will be most welcome. It means you bring the items, or you give us the needed indications, we pick the items, we store them. Students who are challenged, some students, you see that during the examination period, they can't even afford one meal. Then some items will be distributed for them. There are students, you see them, clothing themselves is a challenge. We've mounted some containers at 2 key locations where you can just drop some of these clothing in them, and then we send them to the laundry. It is washed, ironed, and students who have interest at an appointed time pass by to pick one or two to make use of. Also, the office also work with students to provide some form of work and study on campus for some students who will need that to support themselves for their stay on campus. So the student financial unit also helps to address some of these challenges. In terms of the student affairs, it deals with the needed documentations of students. If a student intends traveling outside, you have to write to the office, and then it will provide a needed cover letter to the requisite foreign embassy. For international students, resident permits are also taken through this unit. When KNUST loses a student, it's the Office of the Dean of Students which represents the university, and it does so in collaboration with the department and the faculty to which the student belongs. So the office, together with the department head, some students will represent the university at such a funeral. There are some cases where a student may also lose the guardian. It's important that students provide the guardian, the one taking care of them. If you lose a guardian, there is an insurance policy which will pay the student about $2,000 yearly for your academic facility user fees until you are done with your academic work. So for instance, second year you lose your father, who is the one taking care of you, then the policy will set in. But in some cases, such students, instead of indicating the father as a guardian, they indicate somebody else. So although you provide the documentation that your father has passed on, the office cannot support, because in our documents for which you completed before entering the university, you do not sign up as your father being the guardian. So the rightful guardian, the one who is taking care of you, if he's your uncle, if it's your brother, whoever is taking care of you, in terms of the guardian, it must be correct. Otherwise, if that person, unfortunately, you lose that person, you cannot benefit from the policy, because at that point in time, you cannot change it. But if you have completed the form already and the one you indicated is wrong, once you report to campus, you can come to this office, submit the necessary documentation for the changes to be done, so that it's not after the event before you ask for any change to be done. The office also provides support for students who have challenges. When I say students who have some form of disability or the other, there is an association for which you have to belong to, so that if you have concerns, we'll be able to work with you to address them. But most importantly, the SRC hostel has blocked or has a certain portion of the hostel earmarked for students who have such challenges. So once we know that you fall in that category or you apply to the office, accommodation is always provided for such students on campus. In terms of your medical needs also, we work with the hospital to make sure that you are given the needed support and attention. It's also possible for some of you to drive on campus, but you cannot just come in as a student with your vehicle and then start driving around. The policy requires that you have to register with the Dean of Students office. And to register with the Dean of Students office, you have to come with a valid driver's license and then documentation on the vehicle you are going to use. Apart from the documents on the vehicle, you also have to show that you have the right to use. Either it's your own vehicle or maybe it belongs to your dad who has given you the permission to use, which has to be in a written form. And if you are also driving on campus, there are designated areas for which you can park your vehicle. And therefore, you cannot just park anywhere. If you do that, your vehicle can be clamped and you have to go to the security office before it will be released. The campus also does not support reckless driving, screeching, and all those things. If you want to drive on campus, go through the procedure and then be a decent driver also. Finally, it's important you know that all these I've been telling you is in a single document referred to as the Student Guide and Code of Conduct. Let me show you an example. You can have all the information which will make your stay on campus a pleasant one. When you are on campus, a hard copy will be given to you, but you can also visit the KNUST website to pick a copy and then read. KNUST Students Guide and Code of Conduct. It will give you what we expect from you as a student. Also, in terms of your academics, how you'll be graded, how you have to perform, under what situation you'll be asked to repeat, under what situation you'll be asked to withdraw. All those things are spelled out. How your averages are calculated is all spelled out in this book, and it's important you have a look at it, and then it will make your stay comfortable. On this note, I say thank you for listening to me, and it's important that you take this message serious. If you have concern, the Dean of Students is your parent on campus. Come in and let us have a chat. Thank you.
Hello students, welcome to KNUST. My name is George Ifa Asamoah, Deputy Finance Officer and Head of Student Session. I'll be taking you through payment of fees and other financial obligations for the newly admitted students. All students are expected to pay academic and residential fees of various sums depending on your fee category. And we have fee paying, we have regular, and then we have international students. And please note that fees must be paid in full at the beginning of the semester. And fees paid are not refundable. Fees can be paid at the following banks: GCB Bank, Car Bank, UBA, EcoBank, Absa Bank, Consolidated Bank Ghana, Guarantee Trust Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and Republic Bank. Students may also pay at Ghana Post, but note that you have to pay charges. It is not free. Fees must be paid in full as are indicated. Academic and residential fees should be paid separately using different pay-in slips or deposit slips. Accommodation is selected using first-come, first-served basis. A student can only reserve a room after making full payment of academic fees. After payment, there will be activation for you to make the booking and then generate a reservation code. Payment of residential fees can now be made at the banking or using the reservation code. After payment of residential fee, the student can now log on to the accommodation platform and select a room. All students must register at the beginning of each semester. That is online registration and biometric registration. All students who have made full payment of fees can register, and students who report to school but cannot register during the registration period due to any reason should discuss with the college provost, the college finance officer, the college dean, or the head of department so that they can do the registration later. Sources of funding for students. Various organizations support students to pay school fees. And some of the sources are as follows. We have internal sources and then we have external sources. Internal sources are as follows. SRC, Kitwebi, Student Financial Services Office. We also have the external sources, the MTN Fund, MP's Common Fund, GMPC Foundation, Talo Oil, Ghana Scholarship Secretariat, Get Fund, MasterCard Foundation, religious organizations such as Islamic Development Bank and Lebanese Community. Please note that Student Financial Services Office provides financial assistance by way of bursaries and scholarships to less endowed school students, as well as needy by brilliant students. And the office exists to support students but not to enrich themselves. Students are advised to resist from applying and accumulating several financial sources for their selfish interests at the expense of their fellow needy students. Please take note that if you're able to win 2 scholarships, you'll be given only 1. Guidelines on spending for students. It's useful to prepare a simple personal budget to support your life on campus. The budget shows your expected income and expected expenditure. The income includes the following: money from home, student loan trust, scholarships, remittances from abroad. And expenditure may include the following: food, fees, accommodation, clothing, transportation, cell phone and call credit, books, and photocopies. I expect you to prioritize your expenditure and avoid unnecessary expenditure as much as possible. Do not include income that is not certain in your budget. Remember, some incomes may delay. Students' loan may not come in the first semester, and some scholarships take time to process. Thank you for your attention.
I want to congratulate you on securing admission into this prestigious university, KNUST, one of the best in Africa. I am Lieutenant Colonel Richard Koba Eshen, the Head of Security Services, and I'm presenting to you the topic General and Personal Security on Campus. I'm using this opportunity to assure you that once you're a student of KNUST and on this campus, we have a logical set of security measures in place for you. And what do I mean by that? We have looked at all the threats that are here, and then we have implemented measures, security measures to counter all those threats. So anytime you face any particular security incident, we have an answer or a measure for us to implement and then neutralize it, so to speak. I'm also creating awareness, security awareness through this presentation so that you'll be armed once you report and then implement all the awareness tips, security tips that I'll be giving you once you are on this campus. And also want to tell you that we will be doing our part by providing you the security, but you have to complement it. by also taking certain personal actions that I will tell you during this presentation. So I will just talk about the general security situation on campus. I'll give you personal basic security tips and then introduce KNUST security services to you and give you very important security emergency contacts and then numbers that you will call anytime you have to. Generally, the security situation on campus is very calm. There's no problem at all. And when you come on campus, you will see. However, your presence attracts a lot of criminals on campus because you carry along valuables. And remember that these criminals are both students and non-students. So the people moving about you are students, some of them are criminals. So you have to keep that in mind. Because of that, students face a lot of threats whilst they are on campus. And what happens is that these criminals know that you are fresh. So you don't know your whereabouts on campus, you are innocent. So they capitalize on that one. You become vulnerable. And then when you become negligent small, they capitalize on that vulnerability and then take your valuable item away or attack you if they have to. So the general threat on campus that you are likely to encounter, the first one is theft. There are robbery cases, fraud, one of the major security incidents, assault, there's sexual harassment, stalking, and blackmailing, and then environmental threats, which I will just advise you on. We have a very good fauna and flora here, very good environment. So there are a lot of reptiles and other animals, but they are very harmful. All you have to do is that in the night, make sure that you dress very well, you avoid using dark places, and then you will be fine. So theft cases, these criminals always target what? Mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and then of course money. And these theft incidents usually occurs in the halls of residence and then in the hostels. And like I told you earlier on, the perpetrators are both students and non-students. So you have to be careful. What they normally do is that they try to get hold of your key and go and make a duplicate copy. So whilst you are in the lecture room, they are doing their operations in your halls of residence. And then they also use excuses. So you see them roaming about, trying to behave like they are errand boys and then looking for somebody. Before you realize they have picked your phone and then they are gone. These are the two major tactics that they use. Then when it comes to robbery and armed robbery, it's not common, but it basically happens off campus, to your hostels, where the places are not well lit. On campus, it is only the darker places that sometimes they will go in and then ambush you. And the perpetrators are mostly non-students who engage in armed robbery activities. They always use elements of surprise. So they will go and hide in a ticket where the place is dark, and then when you decide to use there, they will ambush you and collect your item. They use a lot of weapons, knives, pistols, which are sometimes even toy pistols, and then they use it to spring a surprise on you. Then another major one is fraud. Fraud, the fraudsters use tactics such as impersonation. They will pretend they are students, they will pretend they are staff, they pretend they are lecturers, and then try to deceive you and then defraud you. They use rainmaker method. And what is it? You will be there. For example, you will be there and then you receive a message that you have won something. So you have to give us this money and then we'll give you. And then surprisingly, students will also give their money out. Once you send that money through the mobile money or whatever means, once they receive it, they wave at you and they go. That is what they do. They behave like they are pastors, spiritual cleansing, that you have problem, you are possessed. So they will come, try to deceive you. And then before you realize, you have parted away with something against your will. And then recruitment and accommodation fraud. As you are coming, accommodation is a bit tight. So they will have all means to try and then use accommodation issue to defraud you. If you have any problem with accommodation, just contact the Dean of Students office and then they will help you out. Don't engage anybody outside the university to help you with accommodation. Assault, sexual harassment, stalking, blackmailing are activities that normally occur between students. Anytime you are sexually harassed or somebody is stalking you, quickly report to any of your lecturers or go to the Dean of Students office, who is your father on campus, and then report, and we'll quickly take action and make sure that the culprit stops. So, having known these threats that you are likely to face on campus, let me give you some of the basic security measures that you have to implement once you are here. Obviously, you go out. So when you go out, what you have to do is that you avoid walking in the dark or near bushy or isolated areas, whether the place is lit or otherwise, don't use the place. Avoid using shortcuts, and then as much as possible, avoid talking to strangers. Once you arrive on campus, anybody that you interact with is a stranger until you become familiar with the environment, you know where you go, and then now you can attend to people. Don't try to be Rambo. What I mean is that whenever you are attacked by armed robbers, go by their instructions, and then whatever they want, give it to them, and then have your life, and then continue with your academic endeavors. You will obviously stay in the halls and then hostels. One very serious thing is key control. That leads to a lot of theft cases in the halls and residence. So what I want to tell you is that make sure that you deposit your keys always at the hall assistance lodge. Any time you are going, deposit it with them. If it happens that you think that your door lock is compromised, quickly report to them and let them change. If you are in the hostel, insist that they change your door lock because you are paying for it. Don't use keys of other rooms to open your door. You will have compromised your key and your door, and that is it. Anytime there's a problem with securing your items, report to the hall assistant. And very important, whenever you are leaving your room, lock your door. When you are sleeping inside, lock it. Don't think that you are just going 2 seconds and you come back. That 2 seconds, you go, come back, and your mobile phone is gone. So immediately you leave, make sure you lock your door. Of course, you'll be going to the bus stops. You'll be moving around in the parks. As much as possible, avoid bus stops that are isolated and off campus. We have recognized ones that you can use. Try and board taxis or commercial vehicles, we call them trotro, that are embossed with KNUST stickers. When you come on campus, you will see we have registered all of them. So if there's any problem, we can easily track them. Those are the ones that we recommend for you once you are on campus. And then when you are boarding a vehicle, to make sure that you take the registration number, take some identifiable features on the vehicle, so that if there's any problem, you can call us and then we can use it to trace. Don't display money or any valuable thing in your wallet once you are in the vehicle. And if you happen to have your own car, try and secure student car stickers, paste it on your windscreen, and then you'll be fine. Park at well-lit areas. And then when you are leaving, put all your valuables in the trunk of the vehicle and then lock them. Roll up and lock the vehicles. If you come back, check at the back seat before you enter the vehicles, your vehicle. If you happen that somebody is following you, try and honk your horn or move to the nearest security officer, let the person pass by, or move to the nearest fuel station if you happen to be in town. Now, let me introduce the KNUST security services for you. We have a simple mission, and that is to ensure that there's a stable, secure environment for you to do your academic work and research work once you're on campus. And therefore, there's no need for you to fear. We work with everybody, the students body, the staff body, together with the KNUST District Police to make sure that the campus is very secure. We perform a whole lot of activities and duties that are 24 hours. So whilst you are sleeping, we are not sleeping. We are making sure that you sleep sound by securing you. When you are on campus, our headquarters is at the faculty area. And then we have the main office at the hospital. When you come, they will do the orientation, they will drive you around so you will know there. So that if you have any problem and you happen to be in the faculty area, just come to our office there and report. Or when you are in the house, you just move to the main administration office and then you report. Kindly take note of these two hotlines, very important. You can write them down. 050-134-7350. I repeat, 050-134-7350. The second one is 050-134-7352. 050-134-7352. So the difference is in the last digit, that's 0 and 2. Anytime, it is 24-hour hotline. Anytime you have any problem, wherever you are, just call and then we'll come to your rescue. We also have KNUST police here that will work with them. So if there is a need for us to rely on their services, we'll rely on their services. I end by giving you a security advice by saying that security is a shared responsibility. We can provide all the services for you, but you in person has to also make sure that you apply the security tips that I've given you, so that complementarily we will all make sure that you are secured on campus. The environment is secured for you. So I want to thank you very much and hope to see you soon on campus. Thank you.
I am Mr. Fanuel Seli Asense of the University Information and Technology Services. I'm here to do a presentation on ICT use on campus. I'll take you through these thematic areas that defines our roadmap. We first of all look at our introduction, the systems that are available to students, what ICT facilities that are available to you students, vital links, do's and don'ts in ICT services, and its use. Then we conclude. The UITS has the core mandate to offer information and technology support for research, teaching, and learning. There are about 4 key units that assist in offering the core mandates. They are the network operations and infrastructure, IT, training and help desk, website and e-platform, software development services. One will want to know where UITS is located, and we are on the 3rd floor of the Kesley Hayford building. To get connectivity across campus, one of the key functions of the network and infrastructure unit is to ensure buildings dotted on campus are connected. And this connectivity is via the use of local area network or Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi services are mostly found at the halls of residence and faculty areas. To access the Wi-Fi services, you may need to have credentials to be able to do so. The IT training and help desk unit does so in ICT facilities, which are labs dotted on campus. The first of its kind is on the 1st floor of the Prempeh II Library, which is usually called the ICT main lab. There is also the SRC UITS Carrera lab at the commercial area. We also have the SRC UITS Center 2 lab, which is at the CCB basement. Apart from these labs, some faculties have also made provision for students to be able to access ICT facilities in labs. And notable among them is the Faculty of Art e-Library and the Faculty of Built Environment e-Library. We now have to know some of the systems that are available to students. These include the Students Portal, where students can actually land and do their registration online, check their results, check their fee status, and the like. There's also a mobile app version, which is dubbed the Academic Information Manager, AIM. There's the Student Mail and also the ICT Help Desk. A key entity every student ought to have on campus is a student identity card. It helps students to be able to identify themselves at any point in time, be it examination, identify themselves to the security or staff. This ID card has embedded features to allow students to do online transactions since it has a MasterCard. And it also helps students to be able to access their house of residence because they are mounted access control systems. The student identity card is very relevant because it helps to keep records of who goes in and out of a particular facility, thereby dovetailing into how we offer you security on campus. It prevents unauthorized personnel to enter certain facilities and to mitigate theft, especially at the residential facilities. The student identity card offers restrictions. So residents of halls have 24-hour service or more so access to the hall, but for non-residents, they can't access the hall beyond 10 p.m. even if they have the ID card. There are also some gates that are accessible to students 24/7. For example, the BOMSO gate. So students with vehicles are required to register their vehicles to use their restricted barriers. It must be noted that not all facilities with access control are accessible to students. So what simply that means is some of the facilities with access control are restricted to staff. So even though you are a student with the identity card, the card will not be able to allow you enter. Students must take note of the closed circuit television surveillance. That's a CCTV. These CCTV cameras have been mounted to offer another layer to the physical security services we have on campus. An interesting package students have to take note of is a Vodafone package that is renewable monthly on the 25th of every month. Features: it has 2.5 gig data, 50 SMS, and with these features, you should be able to do 200 minutes on-net calls and 10 minutes off-net calls. What do I mean by 200 minutes on-net calls? What this means is, because this package is coming from Vodafone, I can use the Vodafone package chip to call another Vodafone chip, which is even not on a package. And that call can last for 200 minutes. I can also use the same Vodafone chip to call a different telco. For example, call an MTN line or an Airtel line. And that should be able to last for 10 minutes. If these 200 minutes and 10 minutes call times are exhausted, you can make 500 minutes call when you find yourself in the community user group. What this simply means is, if you are a student with a package and your friend also has a package and you've exhausted your 200 minutes and 10 minutes, you can actually call your friend even though you have no credits on the package. If you run out of all these credits and you however want to recharge, you go by the short code *134*. You enter your recharge number and press #. That would upload the recharge credits for you. Now, to be able to get bundle for online services, then you punch *528#. If you should opt for the package on your personal Vodafone SIM, you cannot subscribe to any other Vodafone package. What simply this means is, whilst you are coming from home, you already have a Vodafone chip and you don't want to lose that Vodafone chip. But we also entreat you to subscribe to the package. Now, the Vodafone chip you already have, probably you have a package called Vodafone Red on it. So once you subscribe to the new Vodafone package, you automatically will forfeit the Vodafone Red package, or it will deactivate that Vodafone Red package. In order for you to be able to access the Vodafone SIM card, you must come to our office with your admission letter. It is relevant and very vital for all students to be able to have this package, and also the chip, because all official communications will be sent via the KNUST Vodafone line. So for example, you want to send notices of exams, date change or cancellation, the message will be by that chip, via that chip. At this point, we need to take note of some of the key or vital links that will afford you students to be able to navigate on our cyberspace. First on the list is the www.knust.edu.gh, which takes you to the main KNUST website that will allow you students to know more about what announcements thereof exist, some events which are ongoing, what news are there, and also access some academic and admission information. There's also the IT help desk, which allows you to access our online help desk facilities. Probably you are using a machine and you have a difficulty in connecting your machine to our Wi-Fi service. You can go on there and check the step-by-step procedure that will assist you to be able to connect your machine. There's also the Wi-Fi help desk, which is on KNUST www.helpdesk.edu.gh. You'll also be able to access KNUST student portal services on the www.apps.knust.edu.gh/students. So if you use this URL, you can get to access the online service that gives you students access to probably your emails, that gives you students access to check your results online, check your fee status, and there's the www.websys.knust.edu.gh, which is an open educational resource available to you students. This helps you to get educational materials and resources freely, because as the name goes, it's an open resource. And the institution, as in KNUST, has already subscribed to these services for you. So you just go there, read, get articles, publications, and be able to use them in your academic work. There's also the student mail, where assignments can be sent. So we use the www.stdmail.edu.gh. With your credentials, you should be able to access the inbox, and where lecturers have sent you assignments, you'll be able to access and do the assignments. To be able to also know much about the Student Representative Council, there is a website created for them, and the URL is www.src.knust.edu.gh. This takes you to the main website of the Student Representative Council, where you get latest news on SRC, events, announcements, and also to be able to know more about your executives, both current and the past. The off-campus electronic information resource, which is like closely related to the OER, gives you access to academic journals, papers, articles when you are off campus. At this juncture, we need to know more about the do's and don'ts of use of our ICT equipment and services. Use of internet services for pornographic and gambling is strictly prohibited. Under no circumstance should we see you use our internet services for pornographic and gambling stuff. Damaging or stealing of our ICT equipment is also very, very punishable. You should not, under any circumstance, share your student credential with anyone. So every student will be given an email address and a corresponding password. And this becomes your student user credentials, which you use to log into most of our portals. If you should compromise it, you quickly have to get to the help desk and have it changed. Because if you compromise it or you make someone get access to it, it can amount to what you call impersonation. The person can log in into any system that you have access to, and we will see the person as is you. And probably the person can do something which is prohibited in your name. So it's very, very important that you guard your user credentials strongly. They can also, if you compromise it, they'll be able to then check your results, which ordinarily must be checked by you alone or probably your relative. They may also be able to know what fees you are supposed to pay or what amount you are owing, which are usually private or confidential information. They may even delete all your registered courses, which can lead to your withdrawal. So it's very, very important to make sure you don't compromise your student user credentials. We hope you would enjoy our services in facilitating your research and learning.
Of the entire library staff of KNUST, I'd like to congratulate you on making it to KNUST and to also welcome you to Ghana's premier and prestigious University of Science and Technology. The purpose of university education is the acquisition of knowledge, and the library plays a very important role in the achievement of these noble objectives. In what follows, I'd like to show you the services and systems we have put in place to enhance your learning experiences whilst here in KNUST. So come with me and let me show you what we have on offer for you.
You have finally made it to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, in Kumasi. Congratulations. Congratulations on making the passage into the world of higher education and assuming the new status of a university student. The learning journey continues, and the old secondary school way of life must now give way to a new way of life, driven by academic scholarship and excellence, which promises to be both interesting and exciting, but also difficult and challenging. Evidence shows that the majority of students who drop out of university do so in their first year due to lack of preparation, poor motivation, misalignment of expectations, and the reality of what they find when they finally arrive at the university. The key to integration and survival into this new learning environment is adaptation, and the psychological impact of such adaptation, if not properly managed, can lead to frustration and disappointments. This need not be the case for you if you make the library your home and a place for learning support to achieve your academic ambitions. So, on behalf of the staff of the KNUST Library Network, I wish to welcome you to the Prempeh II Library and its 6 affiliate college libraries. Like most 21st century academic libraries, we in the KNUST Library work hard to deliver to you a state-of-the-art library service which provides many services including the following: a seamless access to a range of print and electronic resources across different disciplines, accessible anytime, anywhere. A conducive learning environment that inspires both personal and group-based learning activities. Dedicated library staff committed to providing you with the highest level of support, both face-to-face and online. As the knowledge bedrock of the university, the KNUST Library occupies an important place in the university and plays a crucial role towards the attainment of your career goals and objectives. It provides an arena of learning possibilities and a space for generating creative and innovative ideas. I therefore invite you to make the fullest use of our services. Remember, you are here for education and not qualification. And the library is here to help you achieve exactly that. So speak to us about all your learning support needs. We are the reason for our existence.
You heard it all. The library is the knowledge bedrock of this university, and we are here to provide all the services that you need to make this learning journey a successful one. We therefore urge you to make the library a key partner in this learning journey. Remember, you are here for education and not qualification, and we pledge to support you to make this journey a memorable and an enjoyable one. Thank you very much.
I'm the Director of the University Health Services, and I welcome you all to KNUST. I briefly introduce to you the University Health Services and what you should do when you fall ill. The university has a hospital situated at the Tech Junction and a dedicated students' clinic situated opposite the Chancellor's Hall, popularly called Hall 7. The hospital is a general hospital providing general and specialist healthcare services. Our services include treatment of diseases, prevention and promotion of health. We offer medical consultations, admissions, operations, and maternity services. For students, the University Health Services exist to make you fit for academic studies when in school. And in view of this, every first-year student has to undergo a medical examination to achieve this. It begins with an online questionnaire of your medical history, which you must fill this truthfully. The next step is to come to the student's clinic for your examination. The days and time for the examination are every day 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. except holidays. You will take a chest x-ray at a cost of 60 cedis. If you have a recent, not more than a month-old chest x-ray, please bring it along. A certificate of fitness will be sent to your college at the end of the examinations. Any medical condition that is found will be treated. For those with hypertension, diabetes, sickle cell disease, or other chronic conditions, we encourage you to attend our specialist clinics at the main hospital. Should you fall ill whilst in school, please come to the students' clinic on Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., or the main hospital after 6 p.m. on weekends and also in the night. Bring along a valid National Health Insurance card and evidence of proof of being a student, which is your student ID card. Make sure your National Health Insurance card is valid. That is, it has not expired. You can register or renew your National Health Insurance at the student's clinic during the medical examination or at the main hospital on Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. In case of emergencies, when you cannot come to the hospital, please call the following numbers for assistance: 050-644-8826 and 050-644-8831. If you have any complaints to make, please feel free to do so. Call the following